Hello, everyone. Welcome to ALA 2018, and especially to our audience watching on Twitter via live stream. So glad we could connect with you today. My name is Ty Pierce. I'm the product manager for OCLC Wise here in the U.S., and wanted to take a few minutes to talk with you today about Wise, how it's designed around people and driven by data. Now, one of the things that's incredible about all libraries, and particularly we're working with public libraries with Wise, is that we like to say that libraries are the home of superheroes. Libraries are doing incredible things every day to help members in their community, help make their communities stronger, help change lives. And I like to say change is a constant, right? Everything is changing. Our communities are changing, their needs are changing, and as libraries, we're trying to change what we do to help not just accommodate that change, but actually foment that change, help drive that positive change that our communities are increasingly relying on us for. I think there have been any number of great examples of that over the last few years, particularly. Libraries are, instead of just offering, hey, here's a place to pick up your tax forms, hey, here's a place to come, get new job skills, learn new computer skills to help re-enter the workplace market after 2008, just all sorts of incredible stories. So what if you had a system that would not just help you make those changes you need to make, but help drive those positive changes? Introducing OCLC Wise. It is a community engagement system, the first community engagement system for public libraries, that is really about helping you make those changes that are focused on your customers, your patrons, however you choose to refer to them. Now, it is a community engagement system is what we're calling it. Now, what is that? Let's unpack that term a little bit. Our communities are increasingly diverse, and again, their needs are constantly changing. So a community engagement system is going to take care of not just the normal ILS functions that you're used to having with circulation, cataloging, acquisitions, and discovery, but Wise is going to layer on customer relationship management, marketing, and analytics in addition to those core functions. So I love this graphic because on the left you really have all these different customer touch points, whether it's the website and the discovery interface, your marketing communications efforts, payment processing, program registration, and ticketing. All of these things are things that are built into the system that your patrons, your customers are able to connect to you and to the library. And then on the right, these are all the back office things that Wise helps you do the business of being a library more efficiently and more effectively. And again, always keeping the person at the center of this experience, because that's really the biggest difference with Wise, is that it's designed around people and it's driven by data. Now, let's talk a little bit about what that means, because everything runs on data, right? That's not necessarily a new thing. The difference with Wise is, as we saw all those different functions on the previous slide, Wise has all of that together, so the data is all happening in real time. It's helping do these analytics and make these decisions and recommendations on a consistent data set across all of these. Anytime you're having to export data into another system to get another piece of functionality, you're losing that ability to make these decisions quickly and effectively, and you're also losing a little bit in the translation as well. Wise takes care of that. What it's going to let you do is that it helps you anticipate your customer needs instead of being reactive. You're able to be proactive, make sure you're delighting them every time, and you're also going to reach more people. Right now, I have never met a public library director who says, I have more resources than I know what to do with. It's about making more with less. And a lot of times, those impactful things that you're doing, those stories and those moments that really matter, are the ones that are very, very time intensive. They're not the rote operational things. They're very hands-on, very relationship based. Wise helps you get that time back to make those impactful moments happen. Now, this is a great quote. It's about using data, and I'll just paraphrase it. We also believe in a personal approach, and Wise is indispensable for supplying us with that underlying data. We use it to analyze the behavior. It's not just about preferences. Wise is actually looking at what are people doing? How are they using your collections, using your services? What are they really making use of to help guide your decision making? Which says, with Wise, we rely on facts, not assumptions. This is a quote from Ernest Stahl, who is the director of the Gouda Public Library. You may not have heard of the Gouda Public Library. That is in the Netherlands. Now, Wise is new to the U.S. We're launching it this year, this summer, here for the U.S. market. But it has been in use in the Netherlands for years. In fact, more than 75% of libraries use this system. And those range in size from smalls all the way up to 650, 700,000 population served size. A lot of consortia. One of the neat strengths of Wise is its ability to be very flexible around different organization structures and different library structures, because in Europe those lines can be a lot more fluid than we have here in the U.S. So again, it's a proven system, but it's not a U.S. system, at least now it is. And to do that, we've really been working hard to tailor it to meet specific U.S. requirements. Over the last 2 years, we've been engaging in multiple development streams to adapt this platform really to the workflows and to the needs of U.S. public libraries. This photo is from Allen County Public Library in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Fantastic library. I got to go there last Monday. They were our beta partner, so they implemented this system, put it into use, and helped us identify some different functional gaps that we needed to address, which we've been working through and making those happen before the release. Now, why were they interested in working with this? There are a lot of benefits to this system. Simplifying your systems. Again, I've talked about the real-time data, some of these analytics and the other data pieces we'll get into in a minute. But one of the interesting bits about this is this quote from Greta Southard, who is director of Allen County. And she said, we hadn't necessarily looked at or thought about the ILS from a customer-centric perspective. They looked at it as a collections management tool, which is typical. But that's not how our libraries are operating. We're about the people. The books are there. Yes, the books are important, but it's about the people. And so she viewed this as an opportunity not just to make those connections, to help do that work better, but also to kind of switch that mindset of staff to make them more outward-facing, more outward-focused. I'm actually happy to say we recently announced that Allen County has become our first implementer for Wise, our first early adopter. We're looking to figure out a date for them to go live in 2019, but I got to meet with them, and they are just as excited as we are to bring this experience to their customers there in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So what is the Wise customer experience? Right? Let's see it. All right, show me a little bit of this. So this is a mock-up, basically an example of a very basic setup website, very general navigation menu, and what your discovery interface is going to look like. Very clean, a lot of white space, very good look and design. It's mobile responsive, so any devices that your patrons are connecting through, it's going to look great. It's going to deliver that functionality and be very easy to use. You're going to notice, I'll just call out a couple things here, and there's a lot to go through. You've got filter facets over here. You're going to see different things about whether it's available in location, those sorts of things. You'll notice Overdrive here. We're working through a lot of third-party integrations, so right now we'll have Overdrive, Hoopla, Novelist, a lot of the people that you're grabbing e-content from. Not just is it available, but it's actually integrated into the discovery layer. And so our philosophy has been we want to make this as seamless an experience for the customers as possible. So a lot of times with vendors, if we're able to have that entire checkout process for e-content happen inside of Wise, it does. If there is a kickover point, we'll push that as far down into the process so that the customer's staying inside of the Wise system, again, to help that seamless experience and make that a positive one. Also notice a couple other things, obviously, the sorting things, the functionality you're expecting to see. You've got some placeholder requests right here from the search, which is great. Get them there, the fewer clicks, the better. And also people adding things to wish lists. There's some really interesting kind of semi-social components of Wise that are fantastic additions to your services. So this is what a standard bib record will look like. I want to call out a couple different things. The ratings piece. Wise has the ability to do for users to supply reviews and ratings. Users can opt in, create a nickname for themselves, generate some of those things. They can place them on their own lists. They can create their own tags. So it's really just an incredible experience. So what makes this system so powerful? Your library is really like a big machine from a circulation perspective, right? You have materials going in, your materials going out. And what Wise does is rather than you having to manage all of this movement, it's using the data analytics here, and it's going to be making recommendations on where to move things, what to weed, what to pull, what to buy. And then you can then reallocate those resources. It's going to help you we kind of term it either surfing or smart floating. We haven't locked in a term yet, but floating is passive. How many here float their collections? Okay. So that's floating as passive. It's that idea that wherever it comes back, it stays. What Wise is going to do is it's going to analyze what types of items are being checked out at different branches, for instance. And instead of waiting for those holds to be placed, it's going to send those materials there. It's going to allow you to make predictive decisions about where those materials are most likely going to be checked out, so that when people walk in, it's there, what they're looking for is on the shelf, it's of interest. Again, that great experience. Now, that buys you back a lot of different efficiencies. One of the things that we typically see with a Wise implementation is that your overall circulation is going to go up, your number or dollar amount of dead items is going to go down, but the total size of your collection is also going to go down, because if anybody's ever gone through a weeding project, that's not, it's right up there with like root canals, pulling teeth kind of stuff, right? But Wise lets you just bake that into your normal operational flow. It's not a big thing, it's just part of what you do. And you're going to be able to make that collection leaner, more reflective of your communities. And if it lets you do different decisions, right? For some libraries, that means they're just going to get different types of materials in place. They're going to be able to buy maybe some more specific collections for different communities that they have. Other ones might want to reallocate that space into something completely different. Hey, this library, we really need a small community theater space, because that's what our community's missing. That's what they're asking us for. But we don't have the space. Go through some weeding, get that space back, and make it even more impactful. For me, one of the biggest benefits is that it buys you back time. Time to do all of those different things we mentioned about, those impactful moments that matter, whether that's a recording studio, job training programs, more beautiful collection spaces, again, community theaters, all these different things that libraries are being asked to do and the communities need. Wise is going to help you get there more effectively. So how does it work? How does it do all this? When you set up the system, you're going to create different goals and policies that reflect your institution's policies. So for instance, you can define grubby items. You can tell the system, hey, after 30 circs on a paperback, I want somebody to look at it. I want somebody to physically look at it and see, is it beat up? Is it messy? Does it need replaced? Another goal you can say is, as an example, hey, I want these shelves, because Wise can be smart down to shelf level, I want these shelves at 50% full, so that we can display more items face out, because we know that increases circulation. So you're going to load the system and configure it with all these different things, and then Wise is just going to start doing its thing. It's going to continuously analyze. And I say continuously, and I call that out because that's a huge thing, right? This interoperability, this integration of this community engagement system means that it's happening in real time. It's making these recommendations and these analyses on real time. You're not exporting a huge circulation document to ingest into another system, get something back weeks later. That's a disconnect you don't need. And it makes it less valuable, right? With Wise, it's going to provide weekly weed and pull lists, different recommendations on what to purchase to make those purchasing dollars more efficient and effective. One of the nice little call-outs I like to make is that these weed and pull lists can actually be output in walking order, which is pretty cool. You can specify the most efficient walking route through your library, and it will give you that list in that order so that somebody can grab a cart and start going and maybe knock a couple thousand off their Fitbit steps for the day. But again, making it faster. But at the end of the day, it's really the library staff who are going to make these decisions. Wise is just providing these recommendations for you with your expertise to say, yes, we're going to do that. No, let's wait on that. And it also lets you go through those analytics on a longer-term level to see how the system's performing and make tweaks and adjustments. So again, the combination of Wise, these policies you put in place, and the analytics it provides you with ultimately results in a customer-driven collection. You're going to get rid of the things that customers aren't using, that your communities don't need. You're going to get more in of the things that they want and need and are actually using, and it's all going to be based around what they're actually doing and their preferences. So again, that ultimate result is this elevated experience, right? The library is going to have what people want, when they want it, in the format that they want it, and they're going to be just delighted with every interaction they have with you. The other outcome is that it's going to help you build stronger relationships. And this is another aspect where the data piece really comes into play. Who here is doing what they feel is a robust marketing effort? Right? Who here is maybe sending out like a monthly newsletter to everyone in the system? Okay, and that's pretty typical. That's actually very typical. So that can work, but again, people in our daily lives, we're just becoming much more accustomed to and expecting very tailored, very personalized experiences, right? I can't tell you how many emails I should probably unsubscribe from because it's a general newsletter that I'm not getting value out of that. We want these messages to be valuable. We want your marketing efforts to be valuable and generate that interest for your library. So one of the big components of Wise we're highlighting is this marketing workbench that is not just integrated into the system because it's part of the product, it's integrated into the system from a data perspective, and I'll show you what that means. But really the four big pieces of it is you have a selections matrix where you can create different lists of patrons to send messaging to. You can send direct mail and create those messages. You can also manage campaigns. So the system, you can set up different automated campaigns to happen on different system triggers. So new registration, lapsed registration, renewals, those sorts of things. You can create different campaigns to kind of meet that customer where they are in their journey and experience with your library and just automate it. You're not having to sit there and find that and create that and craft that and hit send. You can set those up according to different system triggers and it'll do it for you. And then, of course, viewing reports, seeing how effective these messages are working for you. So this is just an example of how you would build a patron list. You have any number of different criteria you can use over here, and you're literally going to grab this and drag it over here. And as you're doing a drag and drop, it's going to give you the ability to stack these, and you can do an and or. So one example I like to use is, let's say you want to do a Jurassic World happy hour, because why not, right? So you're going to grab age, right? Because you want to make sure it's 21 and over. So you're going to do that. You're going to use the slider to just set 21 and over as your age. And then you'll grab circulation history, and you'll say, I want to send this to people who have borrowed either a book, a Jurassic Park or World book, or movie. In this case, there's no TV series, but you could do that as well. So anybody who's checked out something Jurassic Park related in the last 6 months, year, whatever you specify, they go into building this curated list of people you're going to send to, which is fantastic. Maybe you're going to look and say, oh, that's not enough people, so you're going to expand that out. I don't just want people who checked out Jurassic World. If you had an interest in Michael Crichton and you've borrowed something from there. Again, the benefit is it's going to automate these communications in a lot of ways. It's going to engage people in new ways because they're getting these tailored messages that if they've chosen to opt in to receive them, right, that are fantastic, that, hey, that's exactly what I wanted to know. I'm totally interested in that. And it's personalizing those messages. Ultimately, it's going to help you evolve. Your communities are evolving. You as a library are working to evolve both internally and externally in how you're able to serve those communities. And together with Wise, it's going to help you make that evolution possible so you can act that positive change in your communities that they're so looking to the libraries for. And ultimately, our goal as OCLC with Wise is to help you aim even higher than you are currently. So feel free to check out oc.lc/wise. Thanks so much for your time. I'll be available for questions here. Thanks to all of our virtual audience on Twitter. Really appreciate your time and look forward to talking with you more about this incredible community engagement system for the U.S. Thank you.